Hey there everybody, and welcome to another Factorio mod Spotlight. I'm Exterminator, and thank you so much for joining me today. And in this Spotlight, we are covering the Steam Locomotive mod. This one is about 2 days old, so very new. But this adds just a different type of locomotive, as you can see it running back and forth here. This makes them a little more um, I don't know if complicated is really the right word, but it adds a steam locomotive as well as a tender. So quite a long time ago, and maybe some places now they would use the steam locomotives and then the coal tender behind it or part of it, and this adds that to the game. So you fill the actual locomotive with water, and then you have to fill the tenders with coal, and it creates steam and then runs on that. As you can see here, I have it going back and forth. First off, the graphics are really quite nice. I like them a lot. Here, the wheels are a little bit funky maybe on the locomotives, but other than that, it looks pretty good. It works pretty good here. If we see here, the max speed is 259k, so I think that's standard, so they shouldn't really be slower. Now, the fact that they do have to run on coal means that they're just going to always have slower acceleration since they have to use coal. So this could be more of an early game type thing. If we look at the cost here, it's super cheap. You don't even need engines, so it's definitely early game. You just need some steel and steam engines, and then iron and steel for the tender. And it's straightforward. You just fill it up with water and then with coal. Now, one thing I did find that's a little buggy, and I don't know if the mod dev will fix it. They said it kind of maybe just has to do with how the fluid like wagons work, which is like in the locomotive, is when I set this all up, I had to set the stations up in the locomotive so it would go, and then I had to toggle it between manual and automatic once or twice to get it to start filling up. So that's just something to take note of here. So I added in the stations, and because it wasn't filling up with water, at least initially, so I had to toggle it to automatic to go to the station, and then like manual again, and then automatic one more time to get it to start filling. And that seemed to work. So if you can't get it to work right away, just try toggling it back and forth. It's a little bit buggy in that respect, but otherwise it seems to work from that point forward. If we just, I'm just going to make sure it's still filling coal. It is still filling water because we have steam in there, but I'm going to just dump some more coal in here. And if it needs to fill, you can see it fills. So once you get it going, it's all set, ready to go. In terms of settings, we do have a few here, so you could disable custom functionality, which reverts the functionality of Steam Locomotive to match the default locomotive. So basically, the tender will function as a cargo wagon. So you can check this to basically if you simply like the look of the locomotive but don't want the actual functionality. And then they actually added a thing to make diesel locomotives more difficult to research. If you want to kind of extend, like kind of push that backwards or forwards into the tech tree, like farther in. And then in the map section here, we have the enable tenders, only when enabled by mod. That's just all this is default. Tender mode, neighbors only. So basically when you set it to neighbors only, which is the default, locomotives may only pull fluids from the fluid wagon directly behind a continuous chain of locomotives pointing the same way. When set to full train, locomotives may pull fluids from all fluid wagons in the train. So it's less restrictive, but may improve performance. So one thing you then can do actually, and I didn't know this until I read that because the mod portal didn't mention it, but apparently you can just put a fluid tanker, fluid wagon in the train, either directly behind the locomotive tinderbox or just anywhere in the train if you check that option, and it will pull fluid from that. So that would actually be probably a better way to do it rather than having like pumps like this in each of your locomotives. So that's a really cool feature. And then lastly, tender request threshold. So only pull fluids from a fluid wagon when requesting more than a set amount of fluid. Lower values update more often, so higher values may improve performance. So this is all default, but you can change these how you want. Overall, I think it's a really cool mod. Fantastic graphics. And just a little buggy with the starting it, but other than that, it's super cool. I love the wheel graphics, so actually while it's running. So there you go, guys. I know a little bit of a long spotlight, but there's actually more to cover than I realized. There's not much info on the mod portal. But if you do want to check this out, there's a link to the mod portal page for it in the description where you can go download it. and try it out. It's a lot of fun, really cool. If you have any questions, thoughts, leave them below. If you did enjoy, a like is appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe to keep up with all future content. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.